Oh, yeah. What's up, Internet? What's going on? Oh, it's Friday. It's Friday. Don't freak out. It's not Freaky Friday. It's just regular old Friday. What's up, everybody? How you doing? What's going on today in your neck of the woods? Hopefully everything is going well. And everything is good in your end. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. I gotta check my brows, make sure there's no aphids in my brows, bros, because I had to reset the camera. Is it crispy? Am I in the crispy mode? I don't know. Hopefully it's in crispy mode and people don't freak out because they're like, oh man, I can see your face so clear. Oh no. Unsubscribe. Yeah, so hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Friday. My day has blown by so fast. I cannot even tell you guys how quickly it has gone by. Very quickly, very quickly. I do not know how it's 3 o'clock already. I feel like I was getting a lot of stuff done, and then all of a sudden it's just like 3 o'clock already. You know what I mean? And so, hey, we all have days like that, right? Maybe I got a lot of stuff done. Maybe I didn't get a lot of stuff done. But either way, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and rocking and rolling just the way that we always be rocking and rolling. Now, we have a pretty jam-packed show today, so I wouldn't I wouldn't despair if you're somebody who's like, oh my, I need mucho content. Don't worry. There is a lot going on today, so we're going to keep up with it as best we can and, you know, just keep rocking and rolling. We've got a video segment, we've got the Patreon stuff to go to, and we also have to say hi to everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? First things first, we got to give out our award for first to the chat today. Rocky's Rocky. Coming in number 1. Quickly followed by Hex Tank Apologist. It's a hard one to get out. It's a hard one to get all 3 words out. Steve Horton's here. Matt Sorelli, what's going on? M. Howie9, whose name I always say wrong, but it's just habitual now. Not much I can do about it. I'm trying to say M. How9, right? Mike Howe? Mike Howe. Chad Krotz is here. Good to see you. Joel Gillett, one of the 2 people that live in New Zealand. I have made the acquaintance of the other person from New Zealand. His name is Jake, and he's probably out there lurking somewhere. Lurking, Mr. Jake, Mr. Jakey. I think Mr. Jakey is the other member of New Zealand, I think. Sorry, I just got a message, and I was reading it. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I get that messenger pop up, you know. I try to turn that off, but the computers, man, they just, they update, and then the messenger turns back on again. And then I get updates again, and then I got to go into the settings. And you know what? Let's be honest here. I like to spend my time doing more productful things like, I don't know, making YouTube content for you guys. I don't know, instead of messing with settings. I see Bentley Pascal in the chat. What's up, my dude? We need to get together ASAP, brah. Let me know. Hit me up, and let's figure out this weekend. Because there's Seahawks football this weekend. As you guys know, we were at the Aquatic Experience last weekend, which was a fantastic time. It was great. Seahawks bye week. It was a good thing I made that call. I called into the Seahawks. I was like, look, I'm going to be at the Aquatic Experience. I don't have time to watch the game, so be sure to schedule that bye week. And, I'm glad I made that call. It was worthwhile. I wish I could make those kinds of calls to the Seahawks because it would be funny. That would be funny. But I didn't win that giant lottery. Maybe if I won that giant lottery, maybe I'd be able to do that. Apparently somebody in South Carolina did. Pretty exciting. $1 billion? That's wild. Like a guy like me could go from $0 into the bank account into $1 billion in the bank account. That's a weird day. I think I would consider that to be a weird day. Frank Dominguez is here. He's got the sniffles and he's sleeping and the sniffles and he's sleeping emoji. I'm not sure. Is he not feeling well? Well, I'll have to go up to the attic and see how he's doing. Dreams of Aquarium says, evenings. I seem to have fled Friday into Saturday. That means I'll be asleep within 10 minutes after the show start. So I'll wish you all a good one. Well, Dreams of Aquariums, that makes sense. That makes sense you'd be going to bed because then you go dream of aquariums. Rumbust is here with our first super chat of the day. The 1627. I still can't figure out what the math is. I can't figure. There's some kind of math behind these super chats, and I still don't get it. I'm looking forward to the day where it just clicks in my head, though. I gotta start writing them down, and then maybe I can figure out the pattern or whatever. You know, it's like it's something. It's something. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll figure it out one of these days. Thanks for the super chat, my brother. Rumbus, a longtime supporter. I see Savannah the Aqua Llama, G Bear, Ryan Brown, Rumbus always slamming that super chat. I like it. That's an odd way to put it. Noob Phobos here. Good to see you. I don't see any questions right out the bat, but what did G Bear say? Still can't believe how. Oh yeah, I don't know. Chad Krotz with a $9.99 super chat saying Friday. I dig it. I dig Friday too. And thanks for the super chat. Like I said, super chats, Patreon, all that kind of stuff just goes back into making more YouTube content, making more videos for you guys. As you guys know, one of the biggest things is the time. Time is the biggest thing, you know what I mean? If I got to free up time in order to be able to produce stuff, you know what I mean? It's just a nature of the world we live in. And somebody a little while ago, they were talking to me about, it's not, everything's not all about making money, bro. And I 100% agree. That is exactly how I feel about it. That's not really why I'm on here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on here because this is what I want to do. And so that's why I do it, first and foremost. But secondly, I do have to take into consideration that I do got a baby on the way. And you know what? If I was just a farmer and it was my job to feed my child, boy, howdy, I would be outside digging and planting crops, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be doing my farmer stuff, milking cows and doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing, and in order to feed my daughter. But feeding my daughter these days is the crazy barter system that we have, so I have to go out and make those dollars, which is what I was out doing yesterday. So, on my days when I'm not here, I'm working. When I'm not working, I'm working. When I'm working, I'm working. So you guys make it... definitely take the stress off of being able to show up here and do a long format live show. I do want to give a big shout out to the Fishy Mailman. Wherever you are, Fishy Mailman, I know you have expressed to me on numerous occasions, and being somebody who's a supporter of the show, that it helps you get through your day of delivering those mails wherever you are. I know I do happen to know where you are, but let's call it New Mexico today. Let's call it New Mexico. So, big shout out to everybody that's always been supporting this stuff, and I wholeheartedly appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? That's the big thing. So hopefully that explains it for some of those people out there that maybe have a concern, or two in their head. You know, like my priority is, keeping the roof over the head for my kid, keeping the food out there for my kid. She's not here yet, but pretty much what I think about all the time is Vicky and the baby. That's pretty much what I think about all the time. So that's what I'm all about. And if that seems weird to people, I don't know what to tell you. If that seems weird, I will never know what to tell you. Gene Tesk is here. Yeah, I get to watch the show live today. Dig it. Love it. I love it when Gene has a chance to come down here. 54 Punchy is here saying, what's up? Stephen Pope, packet of seed for next year's garden on the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Next year's garden, I'm pretty excited for next year's garden. As you guys know, we're going to keep expanding our garden here. Literally literally, not figuratively. We're just going to keep expanding the garden here, doing everything we can. One of the things that I am super excited for is being able to get the pond in and get that hooked up to the greenhouse that I still need to construct. So that's going to be, man, this springtime, I got stuck with a lot of projects this last spring, which is fine. There's no complaints about being busy. Being busy is good. I like being busy. I realistically, I think I overscheduled the springtime because I really thought during the spring I was going to have more time to construct that greenhouse, and now I realize that it's October 26th, right? Which means it's like we're at least hip waiter deep in fall, and it's only going to get colder and wetter outside. Does that mean I'm not going to build the greenhouse? That means I'm going to build a greenhouse, and it's going to be cold and wet out. So one of the things I was trying to think about today is the difficulties I have with filming outside in the sideways weird rain that we have out here. And I realized that I have the thing I need. I've got a big roll of, I was going to say polystyrene, but that's not right. It's polyethylene? No. What is that called? It's not polyurethane. What's the polyplastic? What is this? I'm clearly saying it wrong. Oh, come on. Really? It's not on here? It's not polyurethane. Oh, hold on a second. I know what to do. Home's Depot. Let's go to the Home Depot, and then we'll go to the home. Once we're at the Home Depot, then I can. Oh no, I hit the map. I want to go to the website, you guys. Let me see what we got here. We're gonna help you find today. It's not polymeric sand. It's not polyurethane. Polycarbonate roofing? No. It's polyethylene sheet. Is that right? Oh man, it is polyethylene. There we go. That's what I get for doubting myself. Polyethylene sheet. I've got a giant roll of it. And I realized that I can just craft myself a rain cover for basically just like to put the camera under. So, that'll be cool. And a totally irrelevant project. But I think that's going to work out fine. I did realize that I was moving this giant roll. I was putting it up on a shelf to get it out of the way. And I was like, oh, well, there's my rain cover right there. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And that was just totally fun. That was a fun thing. That was good to... That was just a good moment. It was just a good moment that I realized I'm going to have to do all this construction in the rain. And wait a minute, I have the ability to keep the rain off of my camera, and I don't have to like go get anything. That's going to be dope. Jagator1, anyone from around Northeast Florida, Jacksonville area curious if there are any aquarium societies or clubs? I am not, and I'm not familiar. So I don't know, but maybe somebody in the chat will know. I would personally, the best place I've found to search for local clubs is Facebook. Believe it or not, you would think that you'd be able to go on like a Google search and be able to check that out, but realistically, for whatever reason, they've done a ton of development in Facebook to find groups that are physically near you for whatever reason. I maybe because it's useful. I guess I would imagine, but I found that to be the most useful one. And maybe it has to do with the for sale groups, and they're sort of like trying to push Craigslist out or something. I don't know what their motivation is. I would never know, but that would be the place to look, I would think. Whew. Okay. We got a $5 super chat from a 54 Punchy here. Says, dollars for the new daughter. Thank you so much. I'm so jealous of 54 Punchy's avatar. It's so awesome. I don't know if you guys have ever checked it out. If I were you, I would check it out. It is awesome. Noob Phobos' Aquarium Co-op also has a list of clubs. I think I looked at that list like right when they got it started, and I think it only had like 20 things on it, so that didn't come to mind, but that is a good point. It's probably grown since whenever I looked at it many moons ago. So that might be a place to look. Might be helpful. Yeah. So I'd check that out. Let's see here. Oh my, I've been rambling and we're already 15 minutes in. We got to get to the video portion, you guys. Are you guys ready for the video portion? I don't know. Somebody hit the like button because we're about to go to the video portion. The video portion. G-Bear says, Waterscape system looks pretty amazing for ponds. Yes, G-Bear. At the Aquatic Experience, there was a really nice pond setup. Honestly, I appreciate the pond. The pond setup was great. I really like that. That was pretty good. Also, before we get to the video, real quick, I would like to hit a piece of. We got to hit a small piece of YouTuber back and forth. Back and forth between the YouTube live streams. If you guys haven't checked out KG Tropicals, as opposed to KG Cichlids, KG Tropicals is not Kevin Green. KG Tropicals is John Hudson and his lovely wife. I was listening to their live stream earlier today, and I realized they were like, hey, man, we did a bunch of hanging out with Joel, and I didn't hear him talk about us hanging out on this live stream. And my apologies. I'm not trying to cut anybody out. I'm not trying to cut nobody out. Let's just get down. We could just get down to brass tacks here. I did mention you in the live stream, and I said we talked about some cool projects that may or may not be coming up, but I don't want to spoil them. And but yeah, big shout out to John Hudson and his wife. Thanks for the shout out. We definitely will be working on some of those projects fairly soon. Once we get, well, we just say everybody just needs some time. Everybody decompress. You know what I mean? And get ready. Jigator says, thanks, Joel. Tried Googling and nothing, so Facebook it is. And I think I checked the Aquarium Co-op and not much there yet for Florida. Okay, so if anybody is in Florida, head over there and throw up your fish club because sounds like Florida peoples is tripping. You better get your fish clubs out and promote them a little bit so people will know to show up. All right, let's get to the video portion of the show. This video portion of the show is brought to you by this black screen. Why isn't it playing? All right, there we go. This video portion is the portion with the thing, you know, with the stuff, right? Isn't that how it goes? Yeah. Full disclosure, just so you know, if anybody feels like they're freaking out, full disclosure, I did get the plants that we will be planting in the video portion today for free as a gift from Dennerle. They were very gracious to have passed on quite a few plants to me, and very much a big thank you to those guys. And if anybody feels like this is a paid segment or whatever, don't know what to tell you. I did get the plants for free. My main reasoning for getting the plants for free is I got almost all of the plants that I got from them are ones that I have either rarely seen locally or never really seen them locally. You know what I mean? So my main reason for getting these plants, not only are they a high quality tissue culture, yeah, is that a commercial? I don't know. But they're just really nice. They're just really nice tissue cultured little pots. Love it. Like I said, many years ago, I had terrible results with tissue culture stuff, and I think a lot of that had to do with shipping back in the day. Like, you just couldn't get the tissue culture stuff here very quickly. So I think if stuff got stuck in shipping, or the stores maybe I bought it from maybe had it for the plant just really wasn't getting what it had. So maybe that was a considered really long time. And after Wednesday's show, that maybe that was the reasoning. Is that just availability wasn't that great back then, and timelines, shipping, all that kind of stuff weren't that great. But I don't know how you would know. I've never seen any kind of date on them. I've never seen any date on them, so I don't know. But they were, as G Bear says, shh, I got Tropica free plants. Yes, that was definitely one of the great things about going to AE. Tropica and Dennerle definitely hooked up a lot of people. So awesome, and eternally grateful for that, because it's like they're hooking up with stuff that people needed. You know what I mean? Like plants and that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I like free food samples, but I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this tiny little sample of food. You know what I mean? So I just don't even accept them anymore, because I just end up with these little packages of a tiny bit of food. Is like, what am I going to do with all these tiny little packages of food? I can't, like, consistently feed or even find out if it's a good food. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is, right? But those guys were definitely hooking it up. They gave out a bunch of tanks to people and stuff like that, which was really cool. Jackson says that Dennerle Aquascape workshop was amazing. I will agree with you. I think that the Tropica workshop was easily as good. I think they were both awesome. So the aquascaping workshops, I think, which escaped my mind, I think on the Wednesday show, those were definitely, I thought those were really good, because you have two really good blokes for sure. Volker and George Farmer, those guys, pros, they know what's going on. Awesome dudes for sure. Now, let's talk about the plant, because I just feel like I just covered 5 minutes of, I don't know what I was talking about. I don't know. But let's talk about this plant. Cryptocrine usteriana. Did I say that right? Who cares? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. This is actually a really cool crypt that comes out of Asia, I believe. Yes, Southeast Asia is, I believe, where it comes from. This is a plant that the cryptocrines are almost always, these crypts are almost always something I recommend to anybody that is starting out with plants. I'm not saying that they're the easiest plant. I'm not saying that you just will have guaranteed success. I just think one of the biggest parts of them is they don't need a ton of babying. Like, they don't need a ton of light. They don't need a ton of CO2. Obviously, they need nutrients just like anything else if you want it to grow. But you don't really have to do anything specific or over the top for them. The pH condition, if you have crazy pH swings, these plants will melt off. So keep that in mind. Not only do I find that to be useful in some applications, like if I do have a big crazy pH swing and maybe I don't know about it. Oh, wait, what's going on here? A bunch of crypts have just melted, right? So that it's a good plant to use as an indicator of possible changes or things that you may or may not have going on within your aquarium, but also very beautiful and will grow at a relative pace. I think almost everybody says that crypts grow super slowly. I don't really have that experience, or maybe it's just my perception. Maybe my perception is a little bit different than other people. Maybe I'm just used to plants taking a long time to grow in, and I'm just like, yeah, that's what they do. Take a long time. So that's life. You know what I mean? But I find them to fill in a lot of space, personally. I see them growing and growing and growing, sending out runners. They send out, crypts send out runners underneath the substrate, and new plants just pop up, like however many inches away they feel like. But now the Usteriana is kind of an interesting one because it grows up super duper tall. 20 inches, 20 centimeters, 20 whatever, like from here to here. They'll grow up pretty darn tall, and you guys will immediately ask me, why are you planting them near the front? The reason for that is the back of this tank has different things going on with it. And I just need to get plants planted and get them adapted and get them growing. So that is literally that is my main concern right now. So if I need to move some plants in a little bit, that's not going to be a huge concern for mine in comparison to just letting plants die. If I let these plants die, that's my fault, and that sucks. So the main thing that I'm doing right now is getting them acclimated to my tanks, getting them moved in, getting them out of the cups, and getting them growing and reproducing. Because, like I said, if this area in here, like if they start growing and they're too tall and they're like doing too well, I can always just move them to somewhere else, which I do have a long-term plan for these, and we'll most likely be moving them to some different aquascapes later on as I get the other tanks set up and stuff that's going on here for sure. Hex Tank says my crypt parva are taking forever to grow, and yes, I will guarantee you that is one of those crypts that will drive you nuts with how slowly they grow. In the past, I've found directional CO2, which is the easy way to explain that would be, get a small power head, feed your CO2 in it, and point it straight at the crypt parva. That will get the cryptocriney parva to grow in faster. It just will. So the crypt parva will grow pretty slowly, but like I said, you could do some directional CO2 on it if you like, and that can help increase, make it grow quicker, basically, the easiest way to put it. Jackson says, from experience, how long can tissue cultures stay in the little cups without major issues? So the first thing that you want to take into consideration, make sure you do have some ambient light, or even directional light. Probably not a ridiculous amount of light, but just make sure there's some light shining on the pots. That's going to be first and foremost. No matter what plant you have, they do need some light in order to survive. They just realistically do. The photosynthetic process is just the reality of the world. You know what I mean? People need food. Plants need food. Things that are alive need food. And, light is the major source that plants need. So a little bit of light. And then as long as you keep a nice, stable temperature. I forget. I can recall when I was and I was going to see if it was on this wrapper here. No, I don't see it on the wrapper. But I recall when I was talking to Stefan Hummel, it's essentially room temp. So if you think 65 to 75 degrees, whatever that is going to be good. You don't want anything hotter. You don't want anything super cold. Like, you don't want to put it in a fridge, but you just want to keep it at a consistent temperature. And like I said, have a little bit of light on it. And, if you have it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I know some people have had them for 3 weeks, stuff like that. Not a big deal. I'm not exactly 100% sure how long they're rated for, but I've had stuff for 3 weeks and it really wasn't that much of a problem. But when they go bad, they go bad. I mean, they really do. They really just, that's just a rotten mess, kind of situation. So it is pretty obvious. Ricky is here. Happy Friday. Well, happy Friday. That's good to hear from you. We got a Chromo Vlogs says, I'm going to throw in some moss balls in my nano tank. They'll be my first live plants. Soon I'm going to plant my 15-gallon. Moss balls. The quick and dirty on the moss balls is I wouldn't, personally. Unless you only ever want that to be an algae tank. I just would avoid the moss balls. Even somebody who's done as many tanks as I have, earlier this year, I think the only way to put it would be overly confident. And, moss balls are a type of Calatophora algae. If people don't know that, you can go look it up. And I tried a goofy technique, and I am still battling the algae now, later on. So I would just skip the mossballs personally. But everyone is welcome to do whatever they like. That is for sure. Famous Jones with a $5 super chat says, I replaced gravel in my 55-gallon with aquarium soil. All of my existing plants I had put in tank water are now melting away. Did I do something wrong? No, you have completely changed the environment for the plants. So, as I was mentioning earlier with the cryptocrine, plants generally melt away because that's how they pull back their energy, right? So, plants have a stored amount of energy inside them and have the ability to essentially take back nutrients and energy from their existing leaves and whatnot if the environment does change. Like I said earlier, the example I was giving, if I have a crazy pH swing or something like that, the crypts will start to melt off. Generally, it's one of the first plants that will react to a big change like that. And, essentially what the plant's doing is pulling back all that energy so it can regrow leaves and the plant itself to be better suited for what the environment changes. So if you were to have taken, just plain old gravel and swapped it out with something like fluval stratum, some kind of planted soil, that planted soil is going to have a ton more nutrients and stuff like that and things that are going to be put out into the water column. And that's what's going to activate those plants also from them being, pulled out and replanted. That also is going to essentially, they're going to know, oh man, we got to adapt to this new way that this tank in our environment is. And so that's what the plants are doing. So at the point that you're at right now, just have patience. They should grow back. I'm not going to give anybody a 100% guarantee, but in my experience, 99.9% of the time, the roots haven't melted back. Is it the stamen? I don't know. I always get that wrong. But essentially, the heart of the plant is doing fine. It pulled back all that energy, and it's going to send out some new sprouts and grow right back. So, unfortunately, there isn't much to do about avoiding that. It's just because the plants naturally react to the new environment. Whew. Let's see. Sam ADI is asking, any Monte Carlo experience? Monte Carlo is on my short list. Monte Carlo is on my short list of plants that I always struggle with. I mean, I can grow pearlweed. I can grow dwarf baby tears. I can grow them all. I can grow some Monte Carlo. I regularly struggle with Monte Carlo. People who have been following the channel for a long time know that it is. It's almost one of those instances where I'm like, it's like I'm gonna kick this bucket because I'm so frustrated with this silly plant. I know what to do with it. I just, for whatever reason, I continually just watch it and yell at it and just be a little bit irritated by Monte Carlo. But a slightly lower pH, a good amount of CO2, and some good soil, and you'll be fine. A decent light, I'll put all four of those things together, and you should be fine. Dan Squires is here saying he's the workshop next door share his power, and they had a lot of work this week. Had an 8-hour power outage on Wednesday. I don't want to give away any of Dan's secrets, but we've had lots of conversations on Messenger and stuff like that in regards to the crazy electrical at his place. But luckily it's safe. He just runs out. They just run out of power. Kind of a deal. That's a little over the top. So let me check the chat here and Jackson Koboyarks. I always say your name wrong. Any tips for carpeting UG Ultracaria graminifolia? Right? Is that the one you're talking about? picked up a few cups at an aquatic experience and have absolutely no experience with it. As you guys know, I had a giant carpet of UG in this tank when it was set up at a different place a long time ago. I like UG. I have a great relationship with that plant. Many years of growing it and finding it in weird places that in the sump and stuff like that where it shouldn't have necessarily been. But love that plant. Does pretty well. It does well with directional light. So if you're using T8s or T5s or fluorescent lights or any of that kind of stuff, they're still viable. It's still a really viable way to run your aquarium. You don't have to switch over to LEDs, but UG really likes that directional LED light. It's one of those things that I definitely have found over the years to be the best piece of advice that I could give you. It doesn't do much with root tabs because it's a really, really fine, shallow rooting plant, but it does pretty well with the fluorite red. It does, as far as the substrate goes, it does cling to that one quite well for whatever reason. I'm sure there's a guy out there with a microscope that's like, well, let me tell you all about it, and here's all I really need to know. That's the one that it really liked to grow on. And so that seems to work pretty well. Brian's Fish Tanks is here with the Friday Night WADA changes. Yay! If you guys don't know who Brian's Fish Tanks is, you should definitely check him out. You might want to swing over there and give him a subscribe before the Brian's Fish Tanks video comes out on this channel. I went to Brian's house. I checked out his fish room. His fish room is dope, even though he has a bunch of fish that I'm like, not necessarily. Well, see, here's the thing. I'm interested in those fish. I'm just not interested in keeping them myself. So I think it's a real awesome yin and yang kind of situation. Like, I don't think I would ever get a flower horn, personally. I don't think I ever would. And not that they aren't cool looking fish, not that they aren't, they definitely have a lot of personality. They're really cool fish. Here's the problem. They rescape the tank when you don't want them to. Just like the large cichlid guys, like, I love large cichlid tanks, just not at my house, and for whatever reason, people are like, man, he must hate those fish. I really love those fish. From all the fish all the way up to large mammals. Then, because I was about to say dolphin, so I had to put the sentence on there to be like, yes, I know a dolphin is a mammal, but I would never have a dolphin tank because I don't have the facilities for it, and I also don't have the facilities for really big cichlids or the patience for them to tear up my aquascape. So I could put a flower horn like in this 240 here, and pretty soon there would be no plants, and then I would have nothing to talk about because I'd just be like, yeah, about my fish. And then, you know what ends up happening to me in that situation? I end up setting up 40 more tanks. Whereas I can't just play in my garden and mess with my garden. Hey, man, what are you doing? The dog's out there barking. I think the mailman was here. It wasn't the fishy mailman. I wish it was the fishy mailman. I'd be excited if the fishy mailman was my mailman. I would probably go out there and be like, holla at your boy. And be like, what's up? What are you doing? And be like, hey, man, you got the mail? Did you bring the mail? I'm going to tell you guys, my inbox today has been full of nothing but bills. I don't even know if I want to go out there and get the mail because the electronic mail has been full of nothing but bills. So my guess, if I go out and check the mailbox, it's probably got nothing but bills in it. Which is always like a kick in the pants when it's like the 26erd like it is today, and you're like, yeah, man, they're doing pretty good. Oh, I got all these bills to pay. Yeah, okay, never mind. Okay, whoops, and that's all paid now, and Brian has a good point that 40 more tanks is not a bad thing. It's a bad thing for me. I got so many things going on that if I was to go back to the crazy nanoscapes or the nano tanks that I used to have, I think I would be overly frustrated. I think I would just be frustrated and overly stressed out and just like have way too much stuff to do. And then I think things would, I think realistically, they would I would just be overstressed. Lauren Welsh says, also, you are awesome, and I love the work you do. Cool. Thank you. Oh, I'm just kidding. That's the second part. The first part is any suggestions on what to do with crypt undulate? I think it's undulate. What is that? Undulate. That's the under the latte, right? I think that how that goes. It's underneath. It's from underneath a latte. I don't know. That won't stop melting away. I moved across town about 2 months ago, and pretty much all my plants are struggling. Oof. Man. I never like to hear that. That is stressful. But the first thing that I would check out is your water source. This oftentimes happens to people. Sometimes you can just move across town. Like you didn't even go that far. Maybe you're technically in a different water district source. You know what I mean? So I would pay attention to that. So I would test the tap water, and if there's any way that you could possibly test the tap water from where you were before, that's what I would really look into. That's what I would look into, because let's say you had my water here. Okay, so let's use my water as an example. My water comes out 6.8, sometimes 6.6 pH. The TDS is super low. The GH and KH are fine. Nothing crazy about them, but my water here is really nice. It's really easy to work with. I would rather add things and try and take things away, and that's the situation that I have here. But let's say I was just to move, let's see, like 10 miles that way. Instead of, what is it? Like if I move like 10 miles, whatever direction, I would be in instead of the Tacoma Water District, I would suddenly be in Pierce County or something. I don't know. Whatever, I would move to a different water district, and let's say that the pH out of the tap there was like 7.8, which oftentimes happens because different water treatment plants are doing different things to the water. Like a good example would be when I was at Zenzo's place in San Francisco of Tazawa Tanks. Like I was at his place. We were checking out his water, and his water coming out of the tap is 8.6. But if you leave it sitting out, it drops back down to 7, and that's because his water district is treating the drinking water, showering water, the water supply to the homes. They're treating with chloramine. They have to artificially, temporarily raise the pH so that the chloramine stays active and does what it's supposed to do. But that artificial, raising of the pH drops off when it's been just sitting, out in the air. It basically stays while it's in the pipes, but it kind of drops off once it's, been oxygenated in the air, stuff like that. So if he leaves it sitting out, the pH will drop way back down and won't be that big of a deal. So it's the same water, but the pH is way different because they're utilizing chloramines and stuff like that. So that would be the biggest thing. And then if you do find out it's not that big of a difference, let's bear in mind that the plants don't know that you moved them, right? Like, or maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they're sentient beings. Maybe they're not. I don't know. That's a weird conversation to have, and be like, the plants can hear you. They can hear you in their soul, right? So, maybe they know. I don't know. But just to stay on track, let's say that they don't know that you're moving them and you've moved them to somewhere else. They're essentially reacting to either a whole new water source hitting them, and they're like, this is the new water source. This is what we need. We need to be prepared for this. So when they melt away, they'll grow back to be in the new situation. So if, as I've found happen many times when I've moved my tanks, even just moving the tanks will often cause plants to melt away and then grow back. But you just really have to stick with it. Make sure you have good fertilizers. Make sure your light's on a timer, blah, blah, blah. Just the regular stuff that you got to do. And eventually the plants will just kind of, they want to live. You know what I mean? They want to live. They want to survive, And, as Gillett says, his plants heard that, and they're super sensitive. I know. That's why I don't have any tanks in here, because they'll hear me, and then all my plants and everybody will start freaking out. So maybe, don't play this super loud at the tank. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? Jackson says, I get about 6.6 pH liquid rock out here in New York. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that water out. We're out in New Jersey. That water is disgusting. That water is... I feel bad for you guys. I honestly do. I 100% am like... If I lived out there, I would be flipping tables every day, freaking out. I probably would build some kind of giant filtration system before the water even hits my house. I don't know. I really don't know what I would do, but I would not be enthusiastic about your guys' water. I mean, in comparison to my water, you take a shower out there, like, do you even get clean? Like, have I even got the soap off? I can't even tell. Can't even tell if I've rinsed the soap off. I really just walked around feeling like, it's like I just rubbed pizza all over myself. Like I felt all greasy and weird. So I'm sorry. I feel bad. I feel bad for you guys. And like I said, I don't know what I would do. I would certainly consider some kind of pre-filter. You know what I mean? I don't have the answer off of the top of my head. But if I was out there, I'd be diligently coming up with some kind of solution every day, like trying to figure out a better and better way to do it. Oh my God, we've got a bright orange super chat. It just popped up from Richard. $20, man. Don't put yourself in the poorhouse, brother. Brother Richard. Says, been waiting a year to do this. Just started work after a year of recovery from back injury. Oh my. Yes. This didn't even need to be a super chat for me to get this excited. If you're back to work from a back injury, that is next level. I mean, I got to tell you, went through my cousin's back injury, and they're just like, watch my buddy. You're my buddy. I'm going to call my cousin my buddy. He is my buddy. He's my brother from another mother. The other mother of my mother. My sister of my mother, my brother. What? He went through he broke his back, and, we went through all that, and I was just so stoked and just so happy for him, and when he got back to work, so I'm super happy for you too. It raises the Nick up there in Canada just got his knee replaced, and I saw a picture earlier today that he posted. He took his first walk on his was it his knee or his hip? All right, now I feel like an idiot. Maybe it was his hip, but anyhow. I saw him taking his first steps today on a walk, and I'll bring a tear. You know what I mean? I love the opportunity to be able to hear about people getting over the hardships and things going well, and just whatever we can do to just help keep moving the community forward. I don't know. I'm like trying to explain my excitement for you getting back up from a back injury. Yeah. Anyhow, he says, you've helped so much with my tanks and my recovery over the year. Keep it up, bro, and much love from Lucy and Rick. All righty. Richard goes by Rick. All right. Nice. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And like I said, everything goes back into making more stuff for you guys and trying to help you guys out. I really do take your guys' comments seriously. And, when people have questions for me, like somebody, and I don't necessarily want to like start some kind of scavenger hunt or anything, but I can't remember the name of the person that posted it, but somebody posted up that they were like, out of the I don't know, I think I have like 800 something videos up here or whatever. They're like, I couldn't find one that highlighted low light plants. And I was like, man, you're correct. I don't think I have a video highlighting low light plants. I'm going to be doing more and more stuff where I can do these quick highlight type videos like the Hygropenitophyta. I don't know that I'm 100% happy with the Hygrophila Penitophyta video. Like, I feel like I need to get more information into those and make them quicker. But regardless of my own self-critique, I'm going to be doing more of that stuff, and I definitely take your guys' questions. If you guys put it in a comment on a video, it makes it easier to kind of write it down. It makes it way easier if you guys put it on the Patreon, because we only have like 6 or 7 things from the community posts on Patreon. But if you do happen to be a Patreonizer over on Patreon, feel free to post video ideas up into the community tab. Like, I'm all for that. That's pretty cool. So, I don't know. Try to tie everything together, and I'm just like a rambling weirdo right now. So I'm going to take a drink of coffee and find a new question, because we got a big question right here from Matthew DiCarlo. Here we go. Hey, Joel, I work for a company that does research on plants. They are always looking for a way to more efficiently grow roots. Do you know of any ways to help grow more roots? Oh, yeah. Yes, 100%. Growing roots is, you're going to have to look at an aquaponic surge system. If you look that up, that is pretty much the best way to grow roots. You're going to have to expose them to air and keep them submerged. You need the leaves to be emergent, up above the water at all times, and utilize a surge system on the roots, and their roots will grow like crazy. So that's really what you're going to need. If you look up the Bell Siphon Surge aquaponics setup, you can find that. The substrate for it is super cheap. It's like it's like that driveway rock that might be, what am I thinking of? It's maybe a little bit smaller than a golf ball. I guess I got to make sure that I explain things and not just wave my hands around in front of the camera. A little bit smaller than a golf ball. Doesn't need to really be anything special. Granite, basalt, whatever, doesn't really matter, just as long as it's not something that'll break down. That's fine. You don't need to have the fancy aquaponic, the little, it looks like Cocoa Puffs. You don't need that stuff. You're just going to need something that you can surge the water up and down through, and then from there, you can just utilize liquid fertilizers from almost any aquaponic or hydroponic store, and just basically follow the instructions as far as like how much to add to the water. And obviously, if you work for a company that does that, you guys probably have a proprietary fertilizer. If you just go that route, it just definitely work the best. Sean F. says, earlier in the year, we visited Spokane, and they had the best tasting water. Waitress looked at me, craziest look when I got all excited about it. Sean, Spokane has decent water. Let's just be honest here. Spokane has decent water. Not the best, because you drive over to this side of the mountains. Come on over here. Try our water. Our tap water tastes better than bottled water, honestly. I have no idea why anybody in Western Washington drinks bottled water. It's bizarre. Like, if you go to New Jersey, it makes sense to me that people would buy bottled water, but the bottled water out here tastes better than, the tap water out here is almost always better than the bottled water, except maybe the Fiji. The Fiji is quite good. And there was a bottled water that I tried in Germany that I have no idea what the name was, but the Shrimp King, Chris Lukup, he gave me the translation, and it essentially said that the water came from the Black Forest. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe it was just a marketing tool. I don't know. But that bottled water was delicious, and I don't know if they sell it here. I've never seen it here. and I wish that they would. Vexing Cat says heavy sigh. What happened? We got a $10 super chat with the heavy sigh from Vexing Cat. I don't know what happened. Is this not a good show? Vexing Cat, let me know. Is this not a good show? Is it getting you? I need some background music. You know what I mean? I need somebody to come over here and sing a background song that's not it's not copywritten. You know what I mean? That would be good. Let me scroll through the chat here. At Dan Squares. I'm never noticed anymore. I have been here most of this stream from Potato Bro. What's up, my man? Good to see Bradley in the chat. I don't know why you're complaining about you haven't been noticed. Very sorry, Potato Bro. But you come over to my house, man. Know what I mean? Which I would almost think is probably gonna happen sooner than later, because Potato Bro has a new job and he's working 4-day week now. Congratulations, my guy. That is awesome news, and I forgot to text that to you, so now I'm just going to have friendly friend conversations during the live stream. But congratulations, man. I'm glad you got, I'm not going to say where you worked before, but I'm glad you got out of the previous work engagement and now are into the other work engagement, which is a much better schedule and a much better schedule 4 days a week. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to work in the middle of the night. Rich Andy's here. What's up? Good to see you. Vexing Cat says it's a great show. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully we're rambling through here as well as we can. Chromo Vlogs, the most northern island in the UK. Yeah, we almost had snow today. Oh man, the snow's already coming in. Woo! Oh, watch out. Yikes. The snow is already coming. Not a bad thing, though. I enjoy the snow. I have a truck that's fine in the snow, so I guess it's not really that big of a deal, right? And it's an old truck, so, what's the worst thing that could happen? I have to deal with the insurance companies, gut punching me over and over and over again like they did this summer. Man, I just had forgotten about that, but now I remembered. That was depressing. Super depressed. And can you tell I don't really like insurance companies that much? Bentley Pascal says, "Can we get an Amazon link?" For what? Let me see. You can get a digital meter on Amazon. I'm sure Joel can link one. Oh, are you looking for a TDS meter? Yeah, let me grab one. I have that. Where'd my stupid Amazon thing go? Well, this will take just a second. Hold on. Do 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 do. Boo 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 boo. Amazonians, and now I gotta go to my thing with the storefront. TDS meter. Do 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 do. Okay. There are two that I like. This one right here. This one works all right. Copy that. Coming your way. One super hot and fresh Amazon link for you. Blow. That one's got a free 1 day, $13.99. Save an extra 5% when you apply the coupon. Oh my God, imagine the savings. Oh my God, we're saving so much money. Yeah, luckily nowadays the TDS meter is like $13.99. So, and that's 1 day on the Amazonians. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm about to lose my mind. That one, and then this one is a little more expensive. Feel free to order whichever one you like. I have utilized them both, and they both work mediocre to good, I guess. I mean, these super cheap ones are only going to possibly work mediocre to good, and those both fall in that what do you call it, 8 out of 10 range. I mean, to get up to a 10 out of 10, you need to spend like $300. So don't do that. Just use the ones that are a solid B. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need the A+ one. Those ones are a nightmare, and I tell you, from personal experience, you could own the one that's like $13.99 and it work forever. As soon as you get the one that's like $300, it like slips out of your hand and gets run over by a semi or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh no, that happened. But yeah, those two are decent ones. I have those in my fish room right now and utilize them fairly often. Snowflake says, hi, Joel. Just came home from my local fish store with some EcoComplete. I have Italian Val and Microsword fresh in from the co-op. My first tank using a real plant substrate. Any general advice before I get started? General advice would be Val in the back, Microsword in the front, and RE the video of how to plant it. Clear some space, plant it in with the tweezer twazzles. If you guys don't have the tweezer twazzles, hold on, I'll grab a link out of my store here. Because, by the way, I found the tweezers that they're blacked out. So maybe that's something that you guys really need in your life. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but I felt like I really needed these ones. Oh, you could save an extra 6%? I don't understand why there's a coupon on every Amazon thing now. Like, I feel like maybe just make the price 6% less. But I guess I don't know. I guess people probably get excited when they feel like, oh, I clipped a coupon and I saved money. So maybe that's the thing. It's a psychology of the thing, right? That's probably what it is, I would guess. So there's a Amazon link for the blacked out ones that I got. They're murdered out, like the car, like the car thing. It's black on black on black. I think I have one over here. Hold on. How long are my arms, bruh? You know what I mean, bruh? So they're like black on black. You can see I already took out a bunch of them and did not put them back in the case because I have a bucket in the garage where I just throw them in. In the cases. These cases go right in the trash. I find them to be useless. But yeah, you can see these tweezers are black, 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 which is kind of cool. I don't know. They work just as well as the other ones that aren't black on black. They're just kind of cool looking, I guess. I don't know. I was wondering if they would show up better on film, but I don't think they really did show up all that much better on film. I think the silver ones show up just fine, and I think people know what I was doing. So it worked out all right. All right, let's go to the Patreon. We got to go to the Patreon. What is a Patreon? It's a thing where we crowdsource how to do the show. Yeah. Is that how that goes? That's the worst song ever. What is a Patreon? You could be a Patreon. You could go there and you could donate $1 a month. Oh, that's pitiful. G-Bear says, when was the last time you painted? It has been way too long. I've been stuck on a lot of projects, a lot of traveling, lots of stuff, and honestly, my painting takes the back seat. My painting takes the back seat when that's the case, and I honestly, like, one of the parts I'm looking forward to being a new dad is that I will have a couple hours a day where I just need to be inside and make sure that my fussy baby is doing okay, because I don't know that I'm really going to be taking her outside all that much until she gets a little bit older. So I'm just going to paint while I hang out with the baby. You know what I mean? And I don't know, everyone's reaction to her name, the initial name that we got for her, honestly has gotten us second guessing. There's a lot of emotions going on, and we may not be 100% confident of everything that we have at this, every decision that we're making at this point, but we're considering maybe some other names at this point. So I'm just calling her Baby, not out of rudeness, but just out of, like, it's what I got to do. If you guys forgot, Brendan Wagner, he chimed in last week, and as you guys notice, I hit the little heart button. So if you guys do post up on the community tab, I don't hit the heart button until after I answered it live. That's how I keep track. That's how I keep track, my bruh, on my bros and broettes. I don't know. I feel like it's like that's a terminology that just works for everybody, right? Gabriella says, I can't remember who I talked to before about goldfish, but I thought I would mention that I just spawned my goldfish, maybe 54 punchy. I don't know who you talked to. Maybe it was me. That's exciting. That is awesome. And we do have some spawning going on here in the Patreon community questions of the week. First one coming in from Ribe, and hopefully I'm saying this right. I can literally like point at the name now while I say it probably incorrectly. I don't know. Hopefully I got it right. We'll see. Says, I'm planning on redoing my 20 long into a, air quote, rice paddy biotope, unquote. Minus the actual rice. Okay, sidebar here quickly. Hold on a second. Let's say I would encourage the actual rice. And Ribe also says, as cool as that would be. So you do recognize that would be cool. I think doing the rice would be worthwhile, but I digress. As cool as that would be. I have ideas. I'd love other people's input and suggestions, particularly regarding filtration. Because of its location, I want it as quiet as possible. So no sponges, but still low flow for the sluggish, water-loving species I have in mind. Thoughts, suggestions, cool tanks I should check out. Thanks. Saying thanks. Ribe, here's my thing. I think if I was going to build a rice paddy biotope, one of the big reasons I would want to include the rice is a big portion of the filtration. The way that rice grows as it's planted underneath and then springs forth from the water, it grows quite rapidly, and it does pull a lot from the water column. It realistically does, especially if it's in a tank situation. If it's in a tank like that and it is growing above the water, it has just essentially like a never-ending supply of CO2, carbon, the building block of life. Has a never-ending supply of CO2. Just Bob says, I don't think rice sprouts underwater. You might be right. I don't know. I forget. I'm kind of recalling. It's been a long time since I've done it, but maybe you have to sprout it in trays. I forget. But either way, sprout the rice. You get what I'm saying. You know how it grows. It grows in the water, grows above the water, right? So that would be the big thing, is that I think what I would look for, if I wanted to research this a little bit and look for some ideas, I would look for mangrove tanks. A mangrove tank would be a great opportunity to look into that. And realistically, you might not need a filter whatsoever. So if you combine some research with from a mangrove tank and combine that with the Wallstad method, you might be doing exactly what you're looking for. So the Wallstad method is reliant on the plants as the filtration. I know a lot of people get confused when I say Wallstad method. It is commonly referred to as a dirted aquarium, and I put quotations on the dirted thing because it's actually the Wallstad method. I would look up her book and read it if you have time. Diana Wallstad, she's awesome. It's a great book, easy read, maybe 80 pages. It's not even a difficult book to read. So, James Leiser popped in on here and said, what about something like a Matten filter? You can keep the flow below water level to avoid the splashing using a quiet power head. Yeah, I think if I wanted to put an actual mechanical filtration in here, I think I would consider a Matten filter on a power head, just like James Leiser said. I gotta throw some hearts on here, Brez. Gotta throw some hearts and stars and lucky charms. So But that's probably what I would consider if I was going to add any kind of mechanical filtration. But I would aim for a Wallstad method with emergent plants. That's what I would be doing personally. And some mangrove techniques I think would really help out if you looked into some of those. Steve Horton, my man, was like third to the chat today. Congratulations, my man. Posted in on October 23rd. Too much. Couldn't help myself, and I had to play with this new toy. And yes, the Eheim Pro 4 and Sump are both running on my 65-gallon. I don't have enough. I don't have enough media for the Sump at the moment, and thought I'd get the ceramic balls jump-started while I shop around for the rest. The Sump is a Pro Clear Premier 25 wet-dry Sump with a 2,500 liter an hour pump that is adjustable so I can slow the flow down if I like. But he put in want, and I said like, because I do what I like. Is this overkill? No. This is exactly what I would do. If I had a new sump and I wasn't ready to hook it up on a tank yet, I 100% hook all filter media up in my other sumps. I get it broke in as quickly as possible. I want biological material on that. I want it to show up in my mailbox with biological material in it, but you can't really count on that now, can you? So I always take all my bio balls, ceramic rings, whatever I use, and I drop it in my tank. I drop it in my sumps, and I get it going. So I don't think this is overkill at all, and I think it's exactly what I would do. And even if I, like, let's say I got a new canister filter and I was going to use the canister filter on something, I would hook up a canister filter the moment I got it too, because I want the bacteria to start colonizing in there immediately. Just Bob's checking back in, says, just checked, rice does grow underwater, but possibly only up to 4 inches of water or so. Yeah, I think I've seen some of the rice paddies that were at least 2 feet deep and stuff like that. So I don't know, but either way, you could definitely work it out. You know, as I was mentioning to Ribe earlier, you could certainly utilize different plants if you don't actually want to do the rice. Just want them growing above the water and have them doing a majority of the filtration. That's what I would do. And Steve, yeah, this is exactly what I would do. And by the way, look at this organization here. So you definitely haven't gone overkill, but I do see a Fluval Nano light right here. Fluval Nano light right here. Mad respect. I like those nano lights. They're not as powerful as I would like them to be, but I definitely have been enjoying messing with the nano light. You guys will see that it's on the reef. It's actually, I'm using it as a refugium light, but I definitely am enjoying that light. Let's catch up with the chat a little bit. Dan Squire says, take a moment to share this out, guys and gals. Thank you. Well, yeah, mad props, you guys, if you share this out. Yeah, props. I don't know what the props means. It's good. Kelly Peterson, what is up, Kelly? Very active, and love your posts. By the way, you got this moss, you got this shrimp. You pretty much got 2 out of 3 as far as I'm concerned. Says, I've spent the last 9 months raising up orange reely, so when my local aquarium society held an auction over the weekend, I gave in to temptation and bought a group of cherry shrimps. Congratulations. I love it. The whole group has great color, and I can't wait until they start breeding. I can't wait either for them to start breeding. I can't stop my cherry shrimps from breeding. I wouldn't even know how. I don't even know where to start other than boiling the tank, which I would never do that. Kelly Peterson, again, with a double whammy. I like it. Thank you very much for posting up on the Patreon. I dig it. Says, I'm still getting through post-auction organization. This is what happens when I go to auctions, too, you guys. You think I don't come home with a bunch of stuff and then be like, oh, man, I got to scramble around. I definitely do have to scramble around. Says, let me start back over. It says, I'm still getting through post-auction organization, so I'm sharing another photo My $2 10-gallon tank has passed the water test and is now getting painted and ready for the rack. All right, look at this due diligence here. You actually even taped your corners, you painted the tank, and you have the cutting board where you cut out fabric and stuff. I like those cutting boards. Those things are awesome. Did you think I froze because of my love for the cutting board? I do like cutting boards, okay? Weird like that. I was a chef for too long not to appreciate good cutting boards. Let's see. Steve Horton says that Nano is on a 20-gallon hex. Ooh, not bad. Not bad. Fluval light on a Nano hex. All right, I can dig that. Josh 10001000. What's a good iron test kit? Trying to get better iron dosing with my high-tech red plants. API. I always recommend API tests. They're just the best ones. I mean, they just are. And people always say, like, get the test strips. I don't like the test strips personally. I don't get good results from the tech strips. I just don't. I just really don't get good results from the test strips. So API liquid kits, those seem to be the most consistent ones that I'm able to utilize. I recommend those ones. Jake Husey, that's our other New Zealander. This is our boy from New Zealand. This is the other guy from New Zealand. We got Joel Gillett, and then we got Jake Husey. Which, by the way, this post just cracks me up. He says, I'm for sure getting a karate chop to the face. Now, I'm not sure you're going to get a karate chop to the face. You might get a karate chop to the, like, neck face area, like right here. You know what I mean? So watch out for that. And he says, I'm for sure getting a karate chop to the face from the missus when she finds out I bought another 8-foot by 3-foot by 3-foot tank. Planning on making my first planet tank since I already have a monster fish tank. Excuse me. That really is like, that is next level. That's a next level. I think an 8-foot by 3-foot by 3-foot tank is, I wouldn't necessarily ask permission. I think I would at least give a shout out ahead of time that it was happening. So you might get karate chopped in the neck. And yeah, you know, I mean, I don't think she'd be wrong. I personally don't think she'd be wrong, since you already have a giant tank. This is a big old monster tank, too. But it looks like it has cracks in it. I don't know what this is right here, but it looks like it's got a crack in it. It probably doesn't. It's probably just a reflection of a rope or something like that. But it looks like it's got a crack in it. Kind of freaking me out. My initial response was freak out a little bit. Mike Howie. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's illustrated here in plain type plus an arrow. I don't know if anybody knows the arrow. Anybody knows the arrow plus the type? Eggs, bruh. I'm going to read it out loud to you. Clownfish eggs. I wasn't expecting this tonight. I was feeding the fish and found a surprise. My snowflake Ocellaris pair had laid eggs. The eggs are pictured in the pot. It's been a while since I have done this. Time to look for some rotifiers and algae. I will keep you all posted on the progress. Now, I got to give you some props to anybody out there who has raised clownfish. I am 100% jealous because I never done it. I have never raised clownfish. I think the biggest reason for that would be it is an amazing amount of work. And I think if you got the cojones to pull it off, get it done, and make it work, I'm just going to be like, man, you got one up on me, that's for sure, because I ain't never done that. But lovely if you can pull this off and get your own aquacultured clownfish going, that's rad. I mean, like I said, you got one up on me, that's for sure. Johan with our fish of the week. Loving it. Johan, if you guys don't know, Johan sends in a fish of the week every week. And it's pretty consistent with it, I have to admit. I don't know when he's missed or not, but either way. Fish of the week, the Paratroplus maculatus, endemic to northwest of Madagascar, Comoro. I don't know, Comoro. I've never heard that before. Area. The conservation status of this species is extremely endangered, so breeding it in captivity is of primary importance. I feel like I'm saying a lot of words wrong today. It's all right. I think people figure it out. You guys probably would have told me. Cool fish. I have read a lot about some of the other maculatus variant type stuff, but I don't think I've ever read about this one. So even somebody like me, I'm like, whoa, cool. Check out some of the reading on that. Highly recommend it. And if you see those come up, as it says right down here, extremely endangered. So if you see these, breeding it in captivity is of primary importance. Just the same way that breeding clownfish is also very, very important. Now, I've got something here to point out. Mr. Daniel Squires. If you've ever heard Dan Squires in the chat, if you've ever heard him in the chat and notice that he's got a big giant wrench right next to his name, he is one of our moderators. He does a ton of stuff around here. He also helps out with uploading all of the episodes up to the podcast. This man is super busy, even when the power is out. And he has posted right here his very first video onto the YouTube. And he also made the ever so bold statement that they will get better. He promises. So, full disclosure, I have not watched this video yet. I was going to watch it earlier today, but I don't know if anybody has noticed that I have new glasses on again. The actual ones that I had to use all my insurance on and all that kind of stuff actually came in today, so that was part of one of the crazy things I was doing earlier, was picking up these glasses. I have to admit, I am 100% satisfied with the way these work. I don't think they look bad. I think they look fine. I'm not worried about that. But I am super zazzed about how I can see 100% in focus all the way from end to end. So I literally don't have to move my head. I can actually utilize the power of my eyeballs to like look at stuff that's like down there, right? Without like doing this and throwing my neck out, right? I can actually utilize the facts that my eyes roll around when I like want them to look places. That's pretty exciting. So I have not watched this yet, but I'm going to watch it, and I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too. Go check it out. Feel free to subscribe or whatever you guys want to do for Dan. Maybe you want to jump in there and give him a comment or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know what's reasonable to request of you guys. If you guys want to go check out his fish video, I haven't seen it yet. I don't even know if it's good. So maybe I'm tripping. Maybe you're tripping. Who knows? We all could be tripping. But it is funny that he did promise that they will get better, because now we're going to have to hold you to the promises. Oh, snap. All right, big shout out. Thank you very much to everybody for contributing on the Patreon. I did notice somebody in the chat, 54 Punchy, had noticed earlier we've lost a lot of Patreonizers. And today's just one of those weird days. It's probably like happenstance or something like that. We lost 5 in one day. And it's not like, I'm not pointing the finger at anybody specifically. Just take note of that. I'm not pointing at anybody specifically. I'm not putting the burden on anybody. I'm only giving you an explanation that it is kind of depressing when there's days like this where it's like, oh man, we lost like 5 in one day. Like, what did I do? I wonder if I did something. You know what I mean? So, just one of those days. But thank you to the 295. We're back under the 300 mark. So that's life sometimes. hopefully everybody else, everybody out there, of the people that had to drop off for whatever reason, hopefully everything is going good with you guys, and maybe you just needed to save a couple bucks or whatever, because Christmas is coming, Halloween is coming, Thanksgiving is coming. We got a lot of things going on here. We got New Year's coming. We got a whole bunch of stuff. So maybe that's just all it was, is like, hey man, I got to save up for this giant turkey I'm ordering. I got a new spouse, and they have all these. They have all this family, and all the family's coming, and I normally only get an 8-pound turkey, but now I got to get a 30-pounder. Maybe make 30-pounders, I don't know. But hopefully it's something like that. And that's the reason. It was just like, hey, I need a couple extra bucks from a thing. Let's see. Tampa Tom says, yes, it is just one of those days. Yeah, it's just one of those days like, hey, just one of those days where you just kind of get like a little bit sad. You're like, oh. But that's all right, because tomorrow will be Saturday, and then the following day is Sunday, and I'm hopefully gonna get to see some of my good old buddies on Sunday, and good to see some good old buddies on Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be great. Dolly Vigil is asking, how do you lose patrons? Is that a monthly thing? Yes, the Patreon is essentially crowdsourcing to be able to fund the show, be able to do the show and stuff like that. That really is what's the word? Oh, what happened? That is what Patreon is for. It's for people that, like, hey, you want to give $1 a month. That's it. It's 100%. You can go from $1 a month up to, well, there is a limit. Actually, you can't go over $15,000 a month. That's why there's a $15,000 tier, because I made one that was as high as you could possibly go as a joke. I have no expectation that anybody's going to pay $15,000 a month. But yeah, the Patreon is literally just, hey, you want to give $1 a month or $5 a month or $8 a month or whatever you want to do, And I'm also a Patreon of a bunch of channels. I think it might have something to do with some of the people that may or may not have dropped off. Like one of the smaller channels that I do support on Patreon, I upped my patronage to him the other day, and I think it sent out a notification to everybody. And I was like, I think it may have irritated a couple of people that I might have been patronizing somebody else. I don't know. That could maybe like only be the only thing I could like figure out. It might be a deal. I don't know. Norm Dillon says, help with BBA, please help. I've been trying to get on here for a while now. Norm, feel free to always leave a comment or or feel free to email me, joel@darkstararts.com, at any time if you have like a real question and you feel like, oh man, I got to reach out. You can either leave comments. You don't have to be here live. And so let's see. So Norm, help with the bad. You got bad BBA. If you look up glutaraldehyde, I think that's how you spell it. I might have spelled it wrong. But I do have a glutaraldehyde video showing you guys how to dose Seachem's, Excel? Seachem's Excel, and it will blast the BBA out of your aquarium in like 5 or 6 days. It'll turn red, and then it'll die. But that does work. Just remember that is a temporary fix. You need to figure out what's going on with your water that's imbalanced so that you can recover from that you do get rid of the BBA, but it's not going to grow back like as soon as you stop doing that. And just look into that. Dolly Vigil says, at Corvus, since you were mad cool in person, I will look into it. Oh, well, I have to say this. Every single person that I met at Aquatic Experience, every single person, all of the fans that I met, were awesome. Just all of the fans that I met were super cool. I can't even think. Some were a little bit awkward, probably just because some people are just nervous, around anybody that's new. And so some of them were just like a little bit awkward, and I really, there were some people that even messaged me. They were like, "Man, I saw you and I waved at you and you waved back at me." And I was like, "Why didn't you come talk to me?" And they're like, "You seem busy." So I just will encourage people that, if I'm at the grocery store, that is honestly a way to consider whether you're going to roll up on me. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm not that worried about that, but realistically, if I am at a fish thing, like a fish convention, like Aquatic Experience or Aquashella or Inner Zoo or Super Zoo or any of that stuff, like that's why I'm there. I'm pretty much not at all I'm pretty much not at all there to meet any of the vendors or any of that kind of stuff. Although that stuff is great, I would love, at some point in time, some company to step up and maybe try and do some bigger projects. But I seriously have to tell you guys, it has been a process over the last few years and before to really get anybody to sponsor any of the projects. For whatever reason. I don't know why. And it's probably just because I look like a crazy hillbilly. And they probably don't, they're like, I don't know, this guy might spend all the money on I don't know. I don't know. I didn't have a good example. That wasn't good. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe they just think I look like a weird hillbilly and I might like eat the money or something. I don't know. But either way, Wicked Tank says, I love the fish tank community. Such great people. I agree. 100%. Meatman says, sounds like you were wrapping up, listening while remodeling in the basement. Layers just in case. I like it. Rogue Aquarium says, good weekend. I don't know. We still got like 15 minutes at least. I don't know. Unless everybody's leaving. I noticed that about 48 people left. I don't know what happens. Maybe I just like sound like we're almost to the end of the show. So people are like just bouncing out. I don't know. Hit that share button, y'all. I'm definitely gonna, let's see. We've been live for 1 hour and 31 minutes and 48 seconds. I limit the show to 2 hours. Sometimes I trail off at about an hour and a half and realize like, and I just realized that, like, I don't know. But, yeah, definitely taking questions from the chat now. 100%. So, let's see. 54 Punchy says, yeah, I've heard, okay, hold on. Jackson says, supposedly Aquatic Experience is in New Jersey for at least another 2 years with an additional 2 as an option later on. Any info on that validity? 54 Punchy says, yes, I've heard it was supposed to move every 3 years. As far as I know, they, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? As far as I know, it's going to be there next year. After that, I don't know. But I don't have anything to do with the WPA. The WPA are the people that that put on the Aquatic Experience. Like, I'm just a guest. So I don't coordinate any of the stuff. I don't set up any of the stuff. I just promote it and go. That's pretty much it. And then I'm just there. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of torn between, a lot of people saying that they're not going to go next year. I am planning on going. So things might change by then. I have heard of some of the other conventions that are like, hey, man, we want you to come. I'm like, okay, well, if you guys can figure that out, then I'll figure it out. But, Aquashella, I was unable to make it to Aquashella this last year. And then I was hearing that there was 2 Aquashellas. So I don't know what that means. I heard a rumor for that. I don't know what that means, but I don't know how I'm supposed to decide between the 2, right? I don't know how I'm supposed to decide between the 2, if that's the case. So I don't know if I'm going to have to, like, go to 2 of them. which seems kind of weird to me. That seems like a lot of dance music for me to deal with in 1 year. Like black lights and black lights and dance music. I don't know. I'm not into that whole scene these days. I was when I was a much, much younger man. 18, 19 years ago. To be very specific with the timeline. I don't know. Let's see. Famous Jones, what's up, my man? It was great to meet you, by the way. I have to point that out again. Says, any new painting projects? I do have a bunch of painting projects ready to get started on, but as I mentioned earlier in the show, I haven't I haven't been painting that much. I've been really busy, with travel and stuff. Travel compounds my regularly busy schedule. So, went to Aquatic Experience, as I mentioned on Wednesday. It was a pretty costly affair, and I think by the end of the show here, I think we've whittled out the people that maybe don't want to listen to the whole show, so they probably have left by now. But I was honestly, it was okay with me to have spent that much money to go to the Aquatic Experience, because there were some meetings that were scheduled for the Aquatic Experience with the potential to be doing some bigger projects. Let's, I guess, just explain it that way. That there were possibilities for some people to invest in some bigger filming projects, that kind of stuff. And none of that came through. So I just kind of ended up spending a lot of money, and then 5 days I was gone. I couldn't make any money while I was gone, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not talking about just money, but what I'm saying is my super busy schedule didn't free up any extra time having gone. It was great to meet everybody, and that was awesome, and I consider that worth it. The cost of admittance and the plane tickets and the hotels and, the food and all that kind of stuff was worth it to have met everybody. But the one thing that definitely takes a back seat is if I don't have a painting commission, that just gets pushed back. That totally gets the back burner, and it's maybe not even the back burner. It's like off the back of the stove. So, and that just kind of is what it is, realistically. Bentley Pascal brought up a very good point that the AGA, the Aquatic Gardeners Association, which is mainly the key sponsor, the platinum sponsor, is my boy, the Corey, the Koopy from Aquarium Kubop, which, as you guys know, I get a ton of my stuff from the Aquarium Co-op. There's the affiliate link. If you guys are going to go buy something from the Aquarium Co-op, go through that affiliate link and use this code if you haven't seen it yet. Oops, that's not the code. I must delete. That's the wrong code. Did I delete it? Why is it still... Hold on. Is it... Okay, I guess it stays on my chat even though I deleted it. Okay, hold on. Here's the code. All right, I posted it into the chat. God, I keep holding down the shift. Okay, let me delete that one too. Okay, there we go. There, now it's in there. So use that link. It'll take you directly to Aquarium Co-op. Use that code right there. It'll give you 10% off until the end of the month, as far as I know. If not, it's a pretty good... They're cool people. Anyhow, the whole reason I brought it up was Aquarium Co-op is the platinum sponsor of the Aquatic Gardeners Association, which, if you guys are not excited about the Aquatic Gardeners Association, I don't know what to tell you, because it's about aquatic plants and aquascapes. I mean, that's what the AGA is all about. Very exciting. It's not going to be that far from my house. I'm going to do my best 100% to have something really, really cool at the AGA. It's not going to be that far. It's not going to be that far from here, from my house, about a 15-minute drive. So I'm going to do my best to get something really cool there. I know Corey's going to be there. I know there's like little field trips and stuff, so that is going to be really cool. It's going to be just south of Seattle is where it's going to be, and that's May 3rd through 5th is the AGA convention. I know that Bentley posted it up in there into the chat. Yes, the AGA I am 100% going to, unless I'm dead or there's some kind of emergency that I need to handle, because I won't exclude those two things. Right? Like if I'm dead, I won't go. And I don't know why I would even bring that up, because I don't know who would hold me to it, but maybe somebody would hold me to it if they're like, yeah, well, you didn't throw that, you didn't throw the caveat on there that if you, if you were dead, you'd still go. So I don't know. I definitely got onto a sidetrack there big time. And now people are letting me know that I might be losing y'all, and I might be losing it myself. Mad Tanks. Hashtag Mad Tanks was asking if I have a logo that that you wanted to work with. You wanted to make a logo, something like that. I currently have somebody that is making a logo for the channel, and I will 100% look at your logo submissions if you want to send them in. I will 100% look at them. I would 100% recommend if you wanted to make your own logo or something like that. Totally cool. Not a big deal, but it should have ravens and shrimp and plants and something of my face or whatever all in it. Yeah, that should all be in there. And definitely, if you make a logo, I've been down this road before. If somebody makes a logo or whatever, be sure to make it into a PNG file, because, yeah, that needs to be done. If it's not a PNG file, I probably will be impossible for me to work with, honestly. Let's see. Is it a cherry shrimp with a mohawk? It could be. It could be. It could be a punk rock cherry shrimp. I would prefer a Caridina, over the Neo Caridina. Tampa Tom was asking, is there a white cherry shrimp? So a Neo Caridina, the best I've seen as far as a Neo Caridina being considered any kind of white color or anything like that would be just the clear ones. But not necessarily out of the realm of possibility. Probability, not much. It's almost always a Caridina if it's got white on it, like white. Like if it's got a really bright white on it, it's almost always a Caridina, aka bee shrimp. You know what I mean? Crystal shrimp. It's going to be a crystal shrimp or a bee shrimp if it's got white on it. So keep that in mind if you're seeing white. Though I don't know. I'm not a super science man. So there might be something out there, and I certainly don't know everything about everything that's coming out. Green Aquatic says Lucas has snowballs. As far as I know, like snowballs weren't ever white, but they might be now. I don't know. Let's see. Snowball cherry shrimp. Then again, I could always ask our reference chart back here. Hold on a minute. I can actually show you guys something here. Okay. So all these shrimp right here. I don't know. So every one of those types of shrimp right there, with the white in them, are all Caridinas. All of those. They're not Neo Caridinas, they're Caridina shrimp. Let's see. Jackson says, I've seen a Neo that has a crystal pattern. I mean, every every like snowball neocaridina I've ever seen, and like I said, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but every snowball neocaridina picture I've ever seen is essentially clear, more just opaque. Or if I see a picture of a really white shrimp, it's almost always a caridina and not a neocaridina. So, you know, I don't know. That's just kind of one of the things. But like I said, I'm certainly not the guy who knows everything. So there might be something out there. I could probably message Chris and ask him, but yeah, I'll just ask Chris next time I talk to him and see if there is really a Neo out there that is white and not just clear. Because all the ones I've ever seen, the snowballs and stuff like that, are pretty much just clear, you know. So I certainly wouldn't call them white necessarily. Because, I mean, just with how white caridinas are, crystal shrimp and stuff, so those are white. Those can be like this white as this paper here. This label. I guess there's canvas back there, right? Although it looks kind of weird with the lighting on it. I don't know. Let me see what kind of questions we got in the chat. Oh, David Gilkison. I was expecting an extra N in there, but Gilkison. Okay. I don't know. I'm probably doing it wrong. Thanks, guys. I'll look into the pygmy cories. Will they eat algae? Will they eat hair algae? Not really in my experience. I haven't really seen the pygmy Corydoras. I haven't seen them eat much as far as algae goes. I do recall back in the day people would say that cories would eat algae, but one of the biggest things that they would do is, like, if you had algae showing up on your substrate, they're sort of just stirring around the substrate a little bit, and like if you had some algae growing on there, they're sort of just kind of knocking it off and stuff like that, which may or may not make people think that they were eating it, but I haven't really seen them eat it all that much. Norm Dillon says 55. I don't know what that means, but there it is. Green Aquatics, they just look white until you get up close. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I could see, like, maybe, yeah, I guess if you were, like, standing back, you'd be like, man, those shrimp are super white, and then you get close, and maybe they're not. Jackson, they're so recessive, though, that they can't be bred consistently, even for the ones at the store. Okay. Dan Squire says males will pattern up, but no real color. Sean says, I hope he keeps talking away from the mic. Makes for a good show. Makes 10 to 15 people leave. What do we got? All right, I'm not seeing a ton of questions here. Well, if I missed anybody's question, go ahead and throw it down as a comment, and I'll do my best to get back to it. Oh, Norm Dillon says, 55-gallon CO2, current USA Pro Light, simple green 3 times a week, good or bad? That's good, depending on your plant load. Otherwise, maybe it really depends on how many plants you have. If maybe you're adding too much fertilizer, really the only thing I could really think of. You know, depends on, maybe you could upgrade your substrate if you wanted. I don't know. That sounds like a fine setup to me. I personally got really tired of the 55-gallon footprint. Which is just the size of that tank and the shape of it. So, but that's just me, and just me being picky, I guess. But yeah, no, I think it's probably that's a pretty cool setup. Parker Ben says, should I turn my 75-gallon and 55-gallon with sump into caridina tanks or neocaridina tanks? If I was going to invest that much into doing shrimp-only tanks like that, caridinas, because you could definitely breed some certainly high-quality shrimp. Even the most expensive neocaridinas out there are $12 a piece, something like that. The most expensive caridinas out there, $8,000 a piece or something like that, $8,000 a pair. So I think if I was going to invest that much into breeding colonies, I would just go in the direction of possibility of paying yourself back. Just because I mean, just like the personal, the personal reward of achieving, shrimp breeding and stuff like that, is the same between cherry and crystal. Honestly, I mean, you're like, yeah, they're breeding, check it out, like, and that's good, and they're doing good. So, yeah, that'd be the thing with that. Yeah, yeah. Does that make sense? I don't know if anybody saw, but Scion came out with a new gimbal, and it's not out until the 9th of November. And I have never thought about getting a gimbal until I saw the new one. It's not released yet. It still has like 2 weeks before it gets released, but I have not been like, I've never been like OMG over a camera gimbal until I saw that one. I'm really thinking stretch the credit card and pre-order one. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm considering it. Who knows? We'll see what happens. That was just a little side note, something that I was thinking about. Norm Dillon says, my substrate sucks. It's just gravel. I wouldn't be that stressed out about just gravel tanks. As long as you're fertilizing and have good light and stuff like that, you can definitely get good results. You don't have to have the most awesome substrate in the world. I prefer it just because I like to start, as positively as possible, just to have the best reward possible or whatever, but regular gravel definitely works, and I wouldn't be that worried about it that much. Famous Jones says, I like my 55, but 75 and 90 would be better if you could do it. Yeah, personally, I like the 75s and 90s better just because that front to back is much more spacious and better to scape. Josh says, emergency help. Why would Anubias just start to randomly melt away at the rhizome? Just lost 10-inch Anubias Nana. Was fine past Saturday. You have Anubias rot, my friend. Cut away anything that is melting off. Try to get ahead of it. Think of, you have to, what do you call that? Amputate the limb. You must amputate the limb. That, generally speaking, would be what's going on there. Shallow Water says, hello, everyone. Well, I'm sorry to break the news to you. Hello, and we're getting ready to say goodbye. As I mentioned earlier, big shout out to all the patronizers. Muchos gracias for just being awesome and helping fund the show. So thank you very much to all those guys. Thank you very much to the Aquarium Co-op. Thank you very much to Dennerle for donating a potted plant, which we planted during the video segment. If you missed anything in the show, don't worry. This will upload as a video. Come back here, hit the like button 30 times. Go ahead and throw some comments down there. Let me know that you came back. Like, maybe you came in halfway during the show. Let me know if you came back and listened to the beginning. And, throw a comment down there. Let them know. And don't forget to give a shout-out to Vicky. If you ever see Vicky Toria around, give her a shout-out and say hello to Vicky Toria because she's got our baby inside her body, and it is going so well. I'm so excited for the future of the Aquascape queen that will be my daughter, hopefully. Or maybe she'll completely hate fish tanks. I don't know. Either way, I assume that she's probably going to be a super awesome individual, and I look forward to our adventures together as we move forward into life and, do the adventuring things and those kinds of stuff. And, if those are considerations that you have in your life, just remember, do not light off any fireworks in your living room. Do not do any burnouts in a intersection that is an uncontrolled intersection, or you may crash and someone may die. And CJ Black, where have you hidden the button this time? Lay. 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 Lay.